Oh. Woo! Bam! What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Mount Olympus RC here. Lots going on the table right now. Lots. So what's happening tonight is I am doing a bunch of prep for an event on the 26th that's coming up. I have got 3 SCX 24s I'm getting ready and fixed. My kids... and then I've got 2 Gladiators that I'm doing a bunch of repairs on, new batteries for, so tons of work being done. I have got the electronics off my beloved Evo Pro taken off because this transmission needs work, so this is out of commission for probably a couple of months, which is a bummer because it's my favorite to drive. But that does mean that they're in Demigod, which is freaking sick, and I'm stoked about it. Today, we are going to talk a little bit about some shocks. I'm not a mega flex guy, so I'm going to talk on the smaller side of the shocks primarily. I've got 4 different shocks that I'm just going to be talking about and comparing my experience with them and what I like and what I don't like about them, and probably talk about which ones are my favorite and why. So anyways, that's what's going on. I mean, there's tons of stuff happening here all over. Little mini course so I can test out the new shocks on Demigod, which are massively shorter than the ones that were on it beforehand. Pretty excited about that. So we're going to jump into a much closer look as I talk about these shocks and my opinions on them. So let's do that. All right, let's take a look at the 4 shocks we're checking out today. I've got 2 of them sitting here. Bing, bing. One of them here. Bing. And the other ones I've got on the Bronco here. Boom. 4 shocks. We're going to temporarily move our rock. 4 shocks. Okay, I am going to start. Oh, sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we've got 5 shocks that we're talking about today. They are mostly different brands. I've got 2 from Injora, 1 from Proline, the stock shocks on the Evo Pro, and 1 from RCLions. I am going to start with the Injora ones. These are the ones that are going on my son's Gladiator. We just picked them up. They are the 40 millimeters. Still got the packaging on these because they are brand new. 40 millimeter shocks for his Gladiator. Now, one thing I really like about Injoras, and I don't even know what to call it, some of you might know, but if you look in the top of this thing here, it's got this little airbag that I believe improves performance on the shock. It is an oil-filled shock. Hey, buddy.
Hi.
It's an oil-filled shock. It's really easy to take the springs on and off.
Where's my RC card at?
It's inside, buddy.
Oh, yeah.
So it's got these little pieces on the bottom. Both sets that I have of Injoras do that. Can't remember which way it went on.
What? Wait, Dad, is that an RC card thing?
Uh-huh.
Wait, is it for... Wait, is this just turning when you drive and go that way?
It is. Or you go the other way.
That way? This way?
Whichever way you want.
How much?
They do come with a little bit of oil. Both Injora ones did that. So here are the two Injoras together. The one here on the 4M is the 59 millimeter one, and that's full extension right there. Next to the 40 millimeter one, full extension right there. You can see there's quite a difference. It's probably around 3/4 of an inch, whatever the difference in 19 millimeters is. They are a lot thicker, the ones for the 4M, big bore, I guess you'd call those. I have loved those shocks on the 4M. They are great. I go back and forth between running springs and not. I have found that if you run springs, your approach to rocks seems to be better than if it's just all the way down with no springs. So if you've noticed, all these actually have springs on them. I keep springs on them. Every single one of my rigs has springs. I have run the Bronco without springs. It does eliminate torque twist, but I think they perform better with the springs on. Okay, the next one I'm going to talk about are these ones, the ones on the Evo Pro. We're going to just keep comparing off the 40 millimeter springs. These are a tiny bit shorter than the 59s. Tiny bit shorter. They're about the same diameter. Awesome shocks. I have to admit that from a factory or an RTR, these are my favorite stock shocks that are on the market. I don't think there's a better one that comes on an RTR. Tell me I'm wrong. Anyways, I love these shocks. I run these ones with about 12 drops of oil. I like that better than very little oil. What's the point in an oil-filled shock if you're only going to put 1 to 2 drops in it? I just don't see a point in that. Anyways, going on to the RCLions ones. These are by far the shortest ones. I was very picky with these because I don't want a lot of movement that interferes with the body. So I had these guys on it beforehand and it flexed a ton, like it was just straight up too much. So I did the pen springs on the inside, which did the exact opposite of what a shock is supposed to do. It basically pulled the wheel up off the ground. So now I've got these by RCLions, the 30 millimeters, and I am running, they are full. There's not a room in them for any more oil. These took 8 drops. They look, and I think this is just me thinking, I think they are a replica, if you will, of the 30 millimeter Pro lines, because the Pro lines come in 30 and 50 millimeters. These are 33 millimeters. I might have said 30 earlier. They are 33 millimeters. They ended up being perfect for this car. And we're gonna drive it for the first time here in a minute. So moving on to the last one, Pro lines. I know a lot of people love these shocks. They are by far the most expensive out of all of these. I should have price checked these ones, but I think you can get them for, I'm just gonna say $15 to $25. I will look at that and put the number somewhere on the screen. I paid $25 for the 59 millimeter ones, paid $29 for these. I think most Injora shocks are about the same price. And these RCLions I paid 18 bucks for after tax. So the Pro lines were like 50 bucks after tax. So they are double the price of the other ones. Now, these four, the Injoras, both Injoras, the RCLions, and the Hobby Plus ones are all made overseas, I think primarily in China. The Pro line ones are made in the US. I do like that about that. I am all for supporting your home country, whatever that is. Support it, man. Support local stuff. Support your country. So I do like the fact that these are American made. And now I'm going to talk about what I don't like about all these shocks. So far on the Injoras, my only critique is that if it sits for a long time, it kind of sticks. Doesn't bug me, not one bit. It does not prevent me from recommending those shocks, not at all. I haven't found anything I don't like about these. I love these shocks. I probably would run them on everything if they came in different sizes. These little guys here, I haven't found anything I dislike about them yet. I am starting to see oil pool at the bottom of this one, which is a bummer. It is the only one currently doing that. I want oil-filled shocks to hold oil because that's why you buy an oil-filled shock. My biggest complaint about these guys here, sorry Proline, is it in the instructions it says 1 to 2 drops of oil. I obviously ignored that because I know better and wanted more in it. I prefer more oil in it. I prefer the oil to actually have an impact on how quickly this moves. They did not hold oil at all. It was leaked out of all 4 of them very quickly to where I actually took them off the rig, emptied the oil out, put 1 to 2 drops in. And I feel like with these, you have to keep putting oil in them more frequently. So that's my biggest critique on those. They do not have that little airbag on the top like the Injoras. The Injoras are the only ones I know that have that. I honestly don't know if the Hobby Plus ones do or not, and I just wasn't going to take them off the rig because I didn't want to. So if that bugs you, I don't know what to tell you. Anyways, that's about shocks. I really don't have anything to say. Don't buy any of these shocks. You're going to be super stoked with any 4 of these shock brands. Yeah, they've all done great. The only reason I went away from the Pro lines on this was because they were too long. I should have listened to the guy at the hobby shop the first time when he said 30 millimeters is probably enough. And I was like, nah, in my head, I'm like, no, I need 50. I need 50. Way too long for the build. Way too much flex. Way too much. So I went with the shorter ones. I'm going to drive Demigod on these rocks just to kind of do a flex test. This is basically getting ready for Micro Crawler Club's Creepy Crawl event in October on the 26th. So if you live in the Salt Lake area or anywhere near that, make it down for that event. It's going to be off the chainsaw. It's going to be sick. Last year was my first event with them. It was the Creepy Crawl. I do have a video on that. I don't really talk in it. We just kind of had a blast, and I kind of did a little video. It's my kid's favorite video. Probably has my least amount of views, but that doesn't bother me. So anyways, we are going to, for the record, I think my anyways counter on this video is up to 4. I'm going to get this running. All right, I have a little makeshift course set up. Just grab some rocks from my pile. We are going to test these out with the shorter shocks. And I've never driven comp pins before, so this is a first. Gonna be a big scrape there. See if we can make it over the scrape. Oh yeah. Ooh. Let's move these tires out of the way. Those are the old Demigod tires, which were too tall. So what I've done with the Demigod here is I finally got some rims, running some Trials. Got some smaller tires because the other ones were just way too tall. Got the shocks shorter. We're gonna wall crawl here for a second. Wall crawl. Oh, big crash. Big crash. Got some body damage. It's okay. That's not from this crash, but we're just having some fun, doing some testing here, guys. I'm going to keep doing this for a bit. I am going to tease a little bit about the next week's episode. I've got a feature vehicle for that. It is the color blue. And it honestly looks really awesome. I've seen a few in videos. I didn't really like how it looked in videos. But in real life it looks pretty sick in person. I wish that I'd be able to get this turn on here. But it keeps wanting to push the car forward and not turn at all. We're going to wall crawl again just because wall crawl is fun to say. Oh. Heck yeah. We righted the wrong. Knocking over some tires. That's what we do here. Anyways, folks, we are going to catch you guys next week for that episode. It's going to be absolutely ice, and I say that because it is blue. Thanks for tuning in today. I'm about to hit 500 subscribers, so thank you guys for that. Please give me a subscribe as we continue to grow and expand. Anyways, thank you guys for hanging out with me and joining me in my shop, checking out some shocks, doing a little bit of test run of Demigod, glimpsing a little bit of the logo. This is one of the earlier / middle renditions. This one needed tweaking, but I figured I'd put it on my table just because I like looking at it. So anyways, maybe my counter's up to 5 or 6 right now. Demigod breathes right now and lives. And just so you didn't know, in case you didn't know, the reason I call it Demigod is because I can also drive it like this. And I'll tell you what, when it's in God mode, without the body, it's pretty capable. Let's get up this. Let's get up this. Do it. Do it. Come on. Oh. Woo! Bam! Thanks, guys. We'll catch you on the next one real soon. Later.